Have you ever felt like the harder you reach for your dreams, the further they slip away? Most of us imagine manifestation as a straight path, moving step by step toward a distant goal, as if life were a road stretching endlessly ahead. We think our future is waiting, paused and inactive, believing that sheer effort, visualization, or intention will eventually carry us there. But what if the universe doesn't work this way? What if your future isn't ahead, but quietly vibrating beneath the surface of who you already are? Quantum manifestation doesn't travel forward. It unfolds backward, responding to your present state, not your chasing. This is why many feel tugged in both directions, pushing toward their desires while being silently pulled by forces unseen. The mirror you try to change won't shift by staring at it. Only the source behind the reflection can transform it. Your reality mirrors your internal state. When your emotions, beliefs, and nervous system dwell in the past, your so-called future merely replays what your body already knows. Life feels like forward motion, yet the reflection shows yesterday while your mind fixates on tomorrow. Decades of quantum research hint at this truth. In the double-slit experiment, outcomes change not because the future is prearranged, but because the observer's state directs the collapse of possibility. Cause and effect are inverted. The effect is chosen before action, potential existing before motion. Manifestation is not a journey to a horizon. It is a response to who you are being right now. People say, "I'm moving toward my goals," or "I'm aligning with my future," assuming life exists outside themselves. Yet every version of you already exists in the quantum field. The future self you long for isn't waiting afar. It hums as a frequency, waiting for your alignment. The paradox is simple. The universe doesn't reward effort, it echoes coherence. Your actions are the shadow of a future your energy has already chosen. Small aligned steps can yield massive change, while frantic striving often brings nothing. Spiritual teachings in quantum science converge here. Neville Goddard, Joe Dispenza, modern physics all affirm that internal embodiment collapses probability into experience. Your desires move toward the version of you that already resonates with them. Imagine a field of infinite frequencies, each a potential timeline. You don't walk into a future, you tune into it. Most people unknowingly anchor in their past. Thoughts may say, "I'm ready for change," but the body whispers, "I can only understand what I've survived." Hopes reach forward, emotions pull backward, and the universe listens to the stronger vibration. This creates the sensation of moving forward while nothing truly shifts. Intention alone feels like progress, but the universe responds to identity, encoded in emotion, not thought. Manifestation begins when your inner state aligns with the reality you wish to live. The moment you see this, chasing outcomes loses its grip, and curiosity turns inward, to the internal world shaping the reality around you. You stop asking, "How do I reach my goals?" and start asking, "Who am I broadcasting right now?" Manifestation is no longer a destination up ahead. It becomes a mirror, reflecting the vibrations you've been sending without noticing. Once you see the mirror clearly, you stop resisting the reflection and turn attention inward, shaping the source itself. Transformation begins not by pushing forward, but by tuning inward. When you grasp that the universe responds to the emotional echoes of your past, not the intellectual desires of your mind, a door opens to a level of alignment few ever reach. You move from manifesting outward to manifesting from within. Shift the internal state, and the timeline rearranges, not gradually but instantly. Most people assume their intentions guide reality. They visualize, meditate, journal, and hope the universe reads these efforts as instructions. But the quantum field doesn't obey desire, it obeys familiarity. It listens to the emotional frequencies your body knows best, the ones practiced longest, almost always tied to the past. Your future isn't responding to dreams, but to your emotional history. Your body broadcasts backward even as your mind reaches forward. The field mirrors the strongest, most coherent signal, the vibration that feels like home, even if home is stitched from fear, scarcity, or tension. The imprint of past emotions carries more weight than all your positive thinking combined, not because the universe is cruel, but because your biology prioritizes survival over possibility. Your nervous system is designed to keep you alive, often by recreating familiar patterns. This is why repetitive patterns persist. The same relationships, financial struggles, emotional loops, and inner battles. They are echoes of unresolved memory. The quantum field is neutral. It simply mirrors the strongest signal. When that signal comes from the past, your future becomes a reflection of what you've already lived. Intentions and desires may point forward, but frequency points backward. Notice how your body reacts to abundance or freedom. Tension rises, breath shortens, subtle resistance appears. That is the broadcast the field reads first, long before your conscious goals. Manifestation stalls not because you are wrong, but because your frequency hasn't caught up. You are trying to create a new reality with an old vibration, and the universe tunes into the signal already present. The moment you understand this, perspective shifts. Blame and self-criticism fade. Nothing was broken, only misunderstood. Manifestation does not begin with desire, it begins with internal coherence. Coherence isn't built in the future you seek, it emerges from the emotional states you release, from letting go of the patterns that no longer serve your becoming. Once the past stops dominating your vibration, the future gains room to emerge. This is revolutionary because it reverses the way we were taught to approach creation. The mind wants to look forward, but the body replays backward. The field always mirrors the strongest signal. Lack, abandonment, insecurity. You can visualize abundance while embodying scarcity, but the field will follow the state you are truly in. The shift begins the moment you allow the past to step out of its role as default vibration, giving space for a new reality to unfold. That stall lifts when you commit more to who you are becoming than to who you have been. The moment the emotional weight of your future self outweighs the gravity of old patterns, the nervous system learns that true safety arises from alignment, not repetition. Then the signal flips. Instead of replaying yesterday, you begin transmitting a frequency the field has never received from you. Reality responds quickly because novelty always resonates before repetition, just as your brain responds first to creation, not habit. Anchor this shift consciously. Speak your choice aloud or declare it into the field. My future leads, not my past. This simple affirmation stabilizes your inner frequency, signaling that you are no longer broadcasting from memory, but from possibility. Once you grasp how the reverse mechanism has been shaping your life, the path forward clarifies. You are not chasing a timeline. You are becoming the observer recognized instantly by the future you wish to inhabit. Manifestation stops resisting and begins flowing toward you, like a river finding the ocean it was always meant to meet. When you see that your reality loops because your emotional body faces backward, a new horizon opens, one that requires neither force, willpower, nor endless visualization. The future is waiting not for you to move closer, but for you to turn inward. This is not metaphorical, it is biological and energetic. The nervous system organizes around what feels most real. For years, the past has held that position. The moment your future carries greater emotional weight than the memory behind you, the entire trajectory reverses. Time is not linear, but a three-dimensional field, where every potential version of you exists as a frequency. The confident, abundant, peaceful version of you already vibrates coherently within this field. It is not distant, it exists in a different state. The question is not, how do I get there? But which state am I embodying right now? Embodiment directs the compass of your internal state, pointing either to memory or possibility. Neuroscience confirms this. The brain predicts reality from past patterns because familiarity feels safer than uncertainty. If you do not intervene, your nervous system will continue projecting old emotions into the present, creating a future that repeats the past. The solution is to introduce a new reference point strong enough to override the pull of history, the emotional signature of your future self. This is where the feeling of the wish fulfilled transcends surface visualization. It is not about pretending, it is about giving your nervous system a new anchor. When the emotions of the future become familiar, the body begins to treat them as the baseline, releasing old identities and allowing a new timeline to unfold. That is when embodiment replaces memory. As embodiment grows stronger than old patterns, your timeline pivots. You no longer manifest from the past, but radiate forward, aligning with the frequency of your future self. Identity acts as a gravitational field. Wherever your sense of self settles, reality collapses around it. The old self carries the weight of past experience, pulling awareness backward. The future self carries coherence, expansion, and clarity. Even a few moments of embodying that frequency shift the gravitational pull, orienting you toward the version of you that already lives the life you desire. It is this subtle change in orientation, not effort, that accelerates manifestation. Embodiment is not a technique, but a physiological event. When you inhabit a future state, your brain rewires predictive patterns. Neurons fire in new sequences, forming memories of experiences that have not physically occurred. The heart rhythm harmonizes, the vagus nerve signals safety, and the body's emotional chemistry adjusts. The internal landscape updates, and the field mirrors this instantly. Embodiment cannot be forced. Attempts to fake an elevated state create internal friction, reinforcing the past. True embodiment begins by creating space for the future emotion to arrive naturally. Slowing the breath, softening the jaw, releasing tension in the shoulders, loosening the grip on familiar patterns. Once contraction softens, a new emotional signature takes root. Time reverses tangibly as the body receives expansive, grounded, or aligned signals. The future self activates energetically, not just mentally. Signs appear subtly. Ease replaces tension. Calm certainty replaces anxious effort. Clarity emerges in previously tangled situations. These are the first signals that the frequency of your future self is pulling you forward. Not because you are thinking about it, but because you are resonating with it. Resonance is what flips timelines. Imagine a river flowing in one direction, carrying memories, habits, and conditioned emotions. Embodiment reverses that current. You no longer swim upstream toward your dream life. The flow moves beneath you, guiding you into alignment effortlessly. What once felt distant becomes inevitable. Heavy situations lose their weight, and reality responds before a single physical step is taken. When the internal state favors the future over the past, the field reorganizes instantly. Opportunities, relationships, solutions, and synchronicities emerge because your signal has changed. A few authentic moments of alignment, repeated consistently, rewire the internal compass. The nervous system stops referencing the past and aligns with the version of you that already embodies clarity, abundance, and love. When the observer shifts, the signal shifts, the timeline shifts. Manifestation becomes natural, effortless, and immediate. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are stepping into a current that had always been moving toward you, waiting only for the moment you turned in the right direction. Eventually, the shift stops feeling like an effort and begins feeling like something unfolding through you. It is not forced, not constructed, not pushed into being. It feels as though the future you once reached for now recognizes you and moves closer. Your inner world grows so steady, so synchronized, that the outer world adjusts before you take a single step. The future stops functioning as a distant idea and becomes a force that draws you in. Instead of striving toward outcomes, you feel yourself being carried by an identity that finally matches what you once longed for. Everything changes when the body stops preparing for the past and begins anticipating the future. The nervous system, once trained to search for echoes of old threats, starts scanning for signals of harmony instead. The mind releases the looping narratives it used to protect. Emotions settle into a quieter, steadier rhythm. The internal volume turns down. You feel a subtle momentum gathering, not pushing you outward, but drawing you inward into deeper coherence with who you truly are. This is not motivation, it is attunement. Your field is syncing with a timeline that had always been available, but could only connect once your signal became clear. You notice the shift in small but unmistakable ways. Conversations take on a different tone, as though you are speaking from a wider perspective. Tasks that once drained you now move with surprising ease. Opportunities appear without the resistance you once expected. People reflect back a self that feels more grounded, more present, more whole. You stop performing as the old character trying to reach a better life. You begin expressing the self that naturally belongs to that life. And that identity, steady and coherent, emits a signal capable of reorganizing your environment. Reality starts reconfiguring itself without dramatic action. Your energy field filters out situations that no longer match your frequency. The patterns you used to repeat dissolve because the inner structure that sustained them is gone. When identity shifts, probability shifts. The field stops offering timelines connected to your history and aligns you with timelines that match your new emotional baseline. This is not fate or luck. It is the natural behavior of a coherent signal shaping a coherent environment. Hold that signal with consistency, and your environment recalibrates. You can feel the shift physically. A quiet ease settles in your body, a gentle widening in the chest, a clarity that arrives without effort. You begin moving from a deeper intelligence, one that has been waiting beneath the noise for you to finally hear it. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are stepping into a current that has always been moving toward you, waiting only for the moment you turned in the right direction. As this shift unfolds, it stops feeling like an effort and begins to feel like something flowing through you. It is not forced, constructed, or pushed into existence. It feels as though the future you once reached for now recognizes you and moves closer. Your inner world becomes so steady and aligned that the outer world begins responding even before you take a single step. The future ceases to be a distant idea and becomes a force that draws you in. Instead of striving toward outcomes, you are carried by an identity that finally matches the life you have been calling in. Everything changes when your body stops preparing for the past and begins anticipating the future. Your nervous system, once tuned to detect echoes of old threats, now scans for signals of coherence. Your mind releases looping narratives that once protected you. Emotions settle into a quieter, more grounded rhythm. The internal noise softens. You begin to feel a subtle momentum, not pushing you outward, but drawing you inward into deeper alignment with your true self. This is not motivation. This is attunement. Your energy field synchronizes with a timeline that has always been available, but could only connect when your signal became clear. You notice the shift first in small ways. Conversations feel elevated as if you are speaking from a higher perspective. Tasks that once drained you become easier. Opportunities arise without friction. People mirror back a version of you that feels authentic, centered, and whole. You are no longer acting as your old self trying to reach a better life. You are embodying the version of yourself that already belongs to it. That stable, coherent identity sends a signal strong enough to reshape your world. Reality begins rearranging itself without requiring dramatic action. Your energy field naturally filters out situations that do not match your frequency. You no longer attract the same old patterns because the internal architecture that held them in place has dissolved. When your identity shifts, so do the probabilities available to you. The field stops offering timelines that mirror your past and begins aligning you with those that resonate with your new emotional baseline. This is not luck or destiny, it is physics. A coherent signal generates a coherent environment. And when you hold that signal consistently, the environment adapts. You feel it physically, a calmness that wasn't there before, a sense of soft expansion in your chest, a clarity that arises effortlessly. You are moving from a deeper intelligence within.